houses from the Chinese mainland declined to take part in Taiwan's annual Golden Horse Film Festival this year. China's State Film Administration announced on Wednesday the award ceremony will be held in November with 148 films up for the awards, a big drop from 228 last year. Films from the Chinese mainland grabbed most of the major awards last year, but the award night went sour after some of the awardees from Taiwan trying to deliver a speech supporting so-called independence of Taiwan. Starting August, the Chinese mainland has stopped issuing individual travel permits to Taiwan too, citing hostility toward the mainland. Cross-Strait relations took a turn for the worse ahead of the 2020 election in Taiwan Island. So, are the Chinese mainland's measures enough to show its commitment to the One China principle? Let's go to our panelists. In Taipei, we are joined by Joanna Lei, a former legislator who's currently the Chief Executive Officer of the Changhua 21st Century think tank. Joanna, welcome to our program. I understand there is a storm in Taiwan. Thank you for still joining us through the video. Also joining us in Beijing, Victor Gao Zhigai, who is a current affair commentator. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Also joining us, he is the Center for China and Globalization. So, Joanna, the latest response that you have toward the two measures the mainland government has decided, one about the film festival, the other about the travel.
Well, certainly there are very strong reactions, primarily from the local individuals, less so from the government officials, because the private individuals understand the real consequences and the true meaning of these two new decisions made by mainland China. On the individual traveler side, it's estimated to be impacting or reducing the number of visitors from 200,000 to 700,000, making an economic impact of 6 billion to 21 billion NT dollars for the local economy, especially in the service side. So local individuals do understand the impact. And on the film side, while there are some younger generation filmmakers, they are expressing a very strange reaction, but the major film industry do understand that the Golden Horse is very unique in the sense that it started from 1961. It's one of the oldest and most prestigious Chinese language film festivals. And once you don't have mainland China participants, its position and its significance will definitely be reduced.
We understand that this moment is not just those coming from China's mainland, but also from Hong Kong that has already quit attending the Golden Horse Film Festival held in Taiwan. Now, when we talk about the tourists, I just want to add to what Joanna had just said. More than 11 million tourists visited Taiwan in the year 2018, a record high, that is. Out of the total, some 2.7 million came from the Chinese mainland, although a far cry from the 4.18 million mainland visitors in 2015. They still make up about 1 in every 4 tourists in Taiwan, to say the least. Besides tourism, there are a lot of other things that very much link the economy in Taiwan and that from China's mainland. Go to you, Victor. Many would wonder why would the authority in Beijing make the decision? Would that mean Beijing is willing to cut ties with Taiwan?
No, I think, first of all, the decision is a major one. The impact on the tourist industry in Taiwan will be huge. After all, individual travelers account for more than 50% of the mainland visitors to Taiwan right now on an annualized basis. So the impact on the tourist industry will be very, very big. Now, why the central government in China makes that decision, I think this is highly expected, and it's very logical, because the bottom line in China is that no one should be encouraged to pursue one country, one country, one Taiwan, or two countries on the two sides of the Taiwan Strait,
right.
wrong policy. There is only one policy, that is, there is only one China, and both sides of the Taiwan Strait belong to the one China. So if the Taiwan authorities want to deviate from that principle, there will be consequences. And that decision, even though it's a very major decision, will be just one of the decisions yet to come.
Right.
So be prepared for more major initiatives from central government here in China.
I see. If you look at the consequences, let's also look at the numbers regarding the film industry. The Chinese mainland is the world's second biggest theater movie market so far, with 60 billion yuan made at the box office in the year 2018. More than half of that came from Chinese films, with nearly a 38 billion yuan take. Taiwan's movie market, on the other hand, is one that's raked in nearly 2.2 billion yuan at the box office, with less than 10% of that from the Taiwanese films. So you see the numbers over there. Joanna, this is not a number competition, rather. This is a principle competition, I see, as in your earlier argument. Now, how to make sure there's going to be a good balance? On the one hand, the attitudes are being made clear. That is, there's only one China and Taiwan is part of China. All the policy are pointing toward that direction. But on the other hand, to also maintain the critical ties between Taiwan and the mainland, and the critical ties of people-to-people exchanges, the critical ties of economic cooperation. How to see that fine balance, Joanna?
Well, I think in the way you framed the question, it is very clear that our current dilemma stems from the DPP regime. Taiwan, since she took office, refused to recognize 92 consensus or anything with regard to a new position between her existing independence position to where the two sides may move towards. So it is critically important that in November, this Golden Horse will be a very local event, and that may send a message to a lot of Taiwanese that whether you want to be a very isolated, marginalized economy or culture, or you would like to embrace a bigger world, and that will perhaps make some changes in the decision of January 11th, which is the next general election. If Taiwan continues to hold office, I don't see any improvement from our current dilemma.
Now what we're seeing on the screen are some of the earlier excerpts of movies and also filmmakers that have won the Golden Horse Award last year and the years earlier. Now we see, Victor, this year though, there's going to be the Golden Rooster Award exactly taking place at the same time when the Golden Horse Award is going to be held, and it's going to be held in the city of Xiamen, right across the Taiwan Strait from Taipei. So it seems that there's going to be much more competition over there under the Golden Rooster rather than the Golden Horse. So what does it say, in a way, to the critical issue that the three places, China, Hong Kong, China's mainland, Hong Kong, Taiwan, and also Macau, need to be connected when it comes to a bigger China cultural concept, so that we'll see 100 flowers or more blossom?
Actually, I fully agree with you. And the greater connectivity there will be in the cultural exchange field, the better. However, I think we need to send the right message to the people and the regime in Taiwan. That is, for example, if there are some people promoting two China or one China, one Taiwan policy, mainland China or the central government here in China will not tolerate. And whatever measures that are taken to send a strong message to Taiwan will be perceived as reinforcing the one country or one China principle, and eventually it will work to the greater benefits of the people in mainland China or Taiwan or Hong Kong and Macau, because otherwise people will be divided as to where the central government would stand on such important issue as the one China principle.
I see. All of this is happening with the backdrop, Joanna, of the U.S. arms sales to Taiwan, of the current administration in Taiwan trying to kowtow into interest in Washington and try to bring as much support from there as possible. So what kind of message do you think, particularly at the time when China and the U.S. are also in the process of so-called trade war, the mainland authority is trying to send through these two gestures, as we just mentioned?
Well, certainly this is something that I have always maintained that would be the worst possible position for Taiwan, that is to be merely a chip used by the United States, or merely a way of getting back to the United States if some tension continues to arise. I'd like to just add that the current decisions, the two decisions, no individual travelers, also affected the business relationship. Because business travelers in the past have used the individual travel pass to come to Taiwan to conduct business meetings, negotiations, and that will come into a halt or have a more difficulty in the years to come. So that will have a bigger effect in the economy. However, it is even more important that there seems to be a general consensus that the Taiwan situation is also linked with the Hong Kong civil unrest. And the Hong Kong civil unrest may be linked to the U.S. Manipulation behind. So all of this just reminds us in Taiwan that our worst possible position is to be a chip by the United States, and we should try to maintain as much free negotiation possibilities with mainland China, and as well as much goodwill as possible for human interaction, people-to-people exchange, cultural, and tourism.
Thank you so much for the two of you, Joanna Lei and Victor Gao Zhikai. Really appreciate it. Thank you. And that is all the time we have for today. If you'd like to see more, try to find us World Insight CGTN into your search engine, or check out our YouTube channel. You can also follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Sina Weibo. From me, Tian Wei, and everyone on the World Insight team, thanks for watching, and tune in again next time for more insights across China and around the world. The weekend is here. Go and have a great one, everyone. Bye for now.